I'm Jason Carter. Physical optimization defines my life. The day I was born, doctors nearly killed me with medical malpractice. They said I'd never walk. I've been proving them wrong for 35 years. It's easier than you think to obtain super optimal health. I've devoted my life to it, and with my help, you can too. I'm Jason Carter, and this is ENZYMENTAL. And welcome to ENZYMENTAL. I'm Jason Carter, and today I wanted to talk to you about fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia is characterized by chronic musculoskeletal pain, fatigue, impaired deep sleep, headaches, confusion, irritable bowel, and symptoms like depression or anxiety. Many symptoms of this disease mimic those of chronic fatigue syndrome and arthritis. Approximately 70% of patients diagnosed with fibromyalgia meet all the criteria for chronic fatigue syndrome. It's now estimated that up to 10 million Americans, usually women, suffer from fibromyalgia. There is no known cause for this condition. However, there is a strong connection to liver and gastrointestinal impairment, leaky gut syndrome, and nutrient deficiencies. Although this disease is labeled untreatable and incurable, the best therapy integrates nutrition, mind-body work, exercise, and lifestyle modification. One of the most common findings in individuals with impaired immune function is gastrointestinal overgrowth of Candida. Also, a deficiency of virtually any nutrient can produce the symptoms of fatigue and render the body more susceptible to infection. The mind and body play a critical role in determining the status of the immune system and energy levels, so for this reason, stress management and emotional support are very important. Food allergies and/or sensitivities, especially ones like wheat and dairy, and even hypothyroidism, can provoke symptoms of fibromyalgia also. And actually, the symptoms of fibromyalgia and hypothyroidism are very similar. Candida, as I've told you, is a naturally occurring yeast that lives in the gastrointestinal and urinary tracts and on the skin. In small amounts, the fungus is harmless. However, when there is an overgrowth, it can be destructive and cause numerous health problems. Candida thrives on sugar, which include natural sugars from fruit, carbohydrates, preserved, processed, and refined foods. So basically, everything existing in the standard American diet. These are the foods to avoid in the treatment of Candida overgrowth. Candida overgrowth over time causes sensitivity to molds, fermented foods and beverages, and yeast, and so you should try to avoid these also. So basically, when you're battling Candida, as I've told you before, you want to avoid all sugar and refined grain products, avoid all fermented foods and drinks. You do still want to keep your blood sugar stable, so make sure you're eating regularly, and you do want to try to maintain a high fiber intake. So this means eat plenty of raw vegetables, and you can eat some fruit, but try to minimize your fruit consumption. Even the sugar from fruit, as I've said, propels Candida. There is an association between fibromyalgia and serotonin, and that is that although fibromyalgia is multifaceted, a possible cause of the musculoskeletal pain is actually low levels of serotonin, which again is your feel-good hormone. Chronic low levels of serotonin exaggerate the sensation of pain, and there is actually a serotonin-friendly way of eating. Many times, sugar and refined starches can affect your brain serotonin, so for this reason, minimizing these refined products can help to balance serotonin levels. And so one way to deal with this is, again, keep your blood sugar stable, which means eating regularly. You definitely want to be eating complex carbs, like colorful veggies, and you do want to be eating healthy protein and fat with every meal. And this can be things like nuts, avocados, wild game, grass-fed beef, organic eggs, poultry, and olive oil. Protein, fat, and fiber slow down digestion and stabilize blood sugar levels. You've heard me talk about these quite a bit. And eating this way curbs sweet and starch cravings because it maintains blood sugar balance and balanced levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Additionally, healthy fats have other health properties that are important in the treatment plan for fibromyalgia, like anti-inflammatory actions and immune system modulators. Fish contain the fatty acids EPA and DHA, both of which reduce inflammation. Foods containing healthy essential fatty acids like alpha-linoleic acid, gamma-linoleic acid, and linoleic acid also reduce inflammation in the body. And food sources of these fatty acids are usually green leafy vegetables, flaxseed, grass-fed meat, organic DHA-rich eggs, and wild cold water fish like salmon, tuna, mackerel, and sardines. Magnesium intake is critical in the treatment of fibromyalgia. Many people with fibromyalgia have excessively low magnesium levels. Magnesium is critical to many cellular functions, including protein formation and cellular replication. Also, magnesium takes part in more than 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, particularly those related to energy production. Low magnesium equals low energy, and most Americans unfortunately consume a terribly low magnesium diet due to high consumption of refined and processed foods and processed meats also, along with a lack of vegetables, nuts, and seeds. The most sensible way to consume vital vitamins and minerals necessary for the treatment of fibromyalgia is through a whole food diet. This includes choosing and eating foods in their natural whole form, or eating foods as close to how they occur in nature as possible. So this means eating no over-processed, boxed, or canned foods, because during the processing, a large percentage of the nutrients found in the original food are destroyed. And be sure to rule out food sensitivities, as of course everyone responds differently to certain foods. So one way to do this is try an elimination diet, which is where you eliminate one or more foods from your typical diet every week, or even for a few weeks, and you see if you notice any difference. So while there is no specific treatment plan for fibromyalgia, you can make your life a little bit more comfortable if you have fibromyalgia by adhering to an anti-candida diet and by trying to avoid processed food as much as possible. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Carter, and I'll see you next time on ENZYMENTAL. Stay healthy.